Dr. Mark Changizi here through Science Moment. Should you use your turn signals in your car? I'm going to suggest that you shouldn't, or at least you shouldn't be doing it in all the ways that you're always advised to. So let me quickly announce again that in a couple weeks, Dr. Tim Barber, my new book, Expressly Human, Decoding the Language of Emotion, is coming out. 10 years, 12 years in the making on the origins of emotional expressions, what face masks cover over and destroy, why they're, crucial to how social animals like us communicate, and how we will always communicate ultimately via emotional expressions, much less so by virtue of these words. And also the underpinnings of how free expression itself works. So let's get to the question that I asked, is that should you use your turn signals? Now, this connects to emotional expressions because, first of all, back to turn signals, the standard advice. What's the standard advice? Always use your turn signals. Just do it reflexively as a matter of habit so that you just do it, period, independent of whether there's anybody around you. Now, I think that's bad advice for a number of reasons. And let's just sort of back up and remember why we signal and emotionally express generally. When we signal and we emotionally express, it evolved as a way of communicating to some other particular person. My emotional signal is to somebody, right? It is not outwards just whether there's nobody around. If I'm sitting here by myself and I'm feeling angry, I don't show anger. I don't usually show anger. I show anger to somebody. There's a great video I was trying to pull up, but I couldn't find of a owner leaving the house, and their dog is so excited just to say hi to the owner. And as the owner goes, the owner keeps turning around to say, sort of just look at the dog. And every time the owner turns around to look at the dog wags like crazy. As soon as the owner looks away, the wagging stops. The dog is not signaling his happiness to God and to the trees. He or she is signaling to the owner. It is directed to a particular person. The reason that we want to signal in a car is not because if I turn it on, I'm going to be safe. Turning on your signal doesn't do anything. It doesn't keep you safe. Turning on the signal only works if you can actually get the people that need to see it. And so what I recommend is not just signaling because you have a habit of it. My recommendation is that at all times you know where everybody is around you. And especially if you're thinking about changing lanes, then you better damned well know where the heck everybody is. And if once you determine where everybody is around you, some of those people are on a need-to-know basis. They need to know that you're going to change. You need to signal those people. You don't need to signal the guy that's far in front of you or the girl who's really far behind. You need to signal there's certain folks, maybe the person 2 lanes over that might come to your lane, for example. You may not need to signal that person. And so you need to target who you're going to signal. And the way that you signal, in addition to using your turn signal, it may involve you catching their eye. It may involve in behavior that is waiting for not only that you signal to them, but a signal in all of our emotional expressions requires a confirmation receipt. You don't just signal to somebody. You signal and you get a response that they got the signal. So for example, one of the things we argue in Expressly Human is that the reason that we have happy at all, the reason that I would signal, suppose you do something nice for me, or you're conciliatory in some kind of, we're arguing over how much zucchini bread I should get, and you're conciliatory, you offer me more than I expected, and I show happy. I smile in reaction. Well, I'm not smiling because I need the world to know my internal feelings that I'm, gloriously happy. I show that smile as a confirmation receipt that I got your conciliatory signal, that I'm getting more. I'm letting you know, I got it. Right? I want to know who's around me. I want to know who I should signal to, and I don't want to just signal to that person. I want to get that they got the signal back, and often it's by virtue of them either looking at me, or I can tell that they've potentially, if they were slightly coming, they go back. There's certain subtle cues that we have, not just blinkers, lots of kinds of cues that suggest that they got the signal that I need them to get in order to do a safe behavior. Signaling in your car shouldn't be rote habit. It should be because you have a particular plan about who you want to signal, what the reason is for why you want to signal, and then you need to wait to see whether you have evidence that they received it, some kind of evidence that makes sense to you, that, okay, I think they got it, now it's safe to move. Those are the only reasons that we signal. So, not to mention that every time that you signal for no good reason at all is a motor distraction. There's no reason to have a motor distraction for no good reason. And this comes up much more so on a motorcycle. A motorcycle, just, left and right turns, it's a little bit more annoying, a little bit more twitchy. And if you're going at 80 miles per hour in the middle of traffic, I don't want to signal anybody unless they need to know. And I'm not going to signal them until I need to do that, and then I'm not going to do what I need to do until I see that they got the signal, or I'm pretty damn sure. That's how we behave with our emotional expressions. That's how we evolved to have emotional expressions. We don't express to the wind. We don't express as a matter of habit all the time, just so that we're expressing the right emotion when somebody is around. No, we express when we need to the person who we need to, and we ensure that they got the message by the kind of expression or kind of evidence they evince back. And that was your science moment.